Welcome back, everyone. There are so many leaks that I didn't get to hit on this week, so I figured I might as well compile them into one humongous video that's probably going to be only like 2 minutes long. There's 4 different things I kind of want to hit on that are probably going to lead me into a lot of other areas. First of all, we should be getting new AirPods 3s coming out in this March event. If not this March event, then probably within the next couple of months. Now here's kind of where this leak cycle kind of came about. First of all, the AirPods 2s have been out for a minute now. They've been out since I think 2019. So it's worth the refresh. It's worth the time for Apple to go ahead and actually push out these next set of AirPods. And I was thinking to myself, based on the leaks that we saw earlier of essentially Apple, maybe removing the, essential way they actually make their AirPods and essentially pretty much make them into, the ear tips inside the ears. Me personally, and I've said this, I'm very vocal about it, my ear holes just don't sit right with those specific ear tips. And that's one of the biggest problems, and that's one of the main reasons why I can't really use those type of AirPods like AirPods Pros. I wish I could use them because they have a lot of features, but unfortunately my ear type just doesn't fit, and I'm very saddened by it because honestly it's something I get made fun of all the time for, and if I can change it, that'd be the first thing I could change about myself. But here's the thing, and this is the craziest news that I just saw yesterday, the day before, is even though these AirPods are going to be getting into a little bit of a new redesign, essentially kind of like I've been saying essentially so much, basically what the AirPods Pros are, we are kind of seeing reports that these are going to be both in-ear and out-ear design headphones. So what that means is that you could put them in your ear with ear tips inside of them if you want to, but if you don't want to do that, they'll still be able to, rock and still be able to put in your ear perfectly fine, even if you don't put those ear tips in. And if that is the case, that could be one of the smartest and best things Apple can do. I have not seen any headphones that have that type of capability that I can think of. There may be some that I'm not thinking of right now, but if Apple does that, that is going to be a deal changer for sure. That is going to make me want to pick up these headphones up like crazy. And it's almost like a no-brainer for Apple to do this. If they don't do this, another headphone manufacturer should. Because think about it, not only can Apple go ahead and just sell these things to people like me, but they can also make extra money from selling those ear tips. They jack up the prices like crazy on these types of accessories. You look at the ear tips for AirPods Pros, but also for AirPods Maxes, those ear tip things that just basically magnetically clasp in. That's such a ripoff, to be honest, but Apple makes a ton of money off those things probably, and if Apple does that for these, that's gonna be awesome. And hopefully they stay the same price. There's been some rumors saying that they may be cheaper, but either or, if they're the same price, or even if they're the same price, I'm totally okay with that, and I am very excited for these. Hopefully they do not have those ear tip things inside of them. If they do, I'm going to cry, but if they give us the option of either having them in or not, that is going to be a humongous thing that these things have going for it. So that covers it up for the AirPods 3s. Now the iPads, we've been getting so many rumors and leaks about these specific iPads as well. Now, so far with the iPad Pro 5th generation, from what I've been able to see, from what other people are able to see as well, basically these things are coming out very soon based on everything that we've been seeing. They could come out in this March event, they could come out maybe even later this year, but we should be able to see the next iPad Pros coming out this specific year, which is going to be awesome. So first of all, maybe they're coming out in the March event or not, we really don't know, but they could potentially be having that mini LED technology inside of it. Now that is going to be awesome. It's pretty much the closest thing you can get to OLED without fully going there, and I think that's going to be really cool. Having that type of capability is going to be really awesome, and they're probably going to be bringing some improvements to, Face ID. I think it'd be really awesome if they also brought Touch ID to these iPads, because that'll essentially showcase, not only are we going to be able to do Face ID, but Touch ID on the same device, and that'll make it even more likely that Touch ID is coming on these next iPhones, which they're almost guaranteed. So I think that's going to be a really awesome thing that these things are going to have going for it. From what we've heard in terms of rumors, it's not going to be having an A12X type of chipset inside of it. It's going to be going up to an A14X chip, which is going to be hopefully even faster than the A14, which is already extremely fast. So that's going to be another huge asset. And on top of that, from what I've heard, it may actually bring 5G capability as well. And I think that would be really awesome. If this iPad brings 5G capability, you're going to be able to do some really awesome things on this type of iPad. So you're going to be able to ball out in that sense too. And as I mentioned over and over again, time and time again, that is a really cool thing that this iPad has going for it if it's going to bring it. But My main thing is, Apple can do whatever they want to. I just really hope they don't jack up the prices. We've seen this year after year, continuously, Apple wanting to go ahead and, if they bring in a bunch of features at one time, they'll go ahead and increase the price tag. But just because these things are so close to MacBooks in terms of price tag, it just makes me think that Apple may not want to go in that direction. I feel like they're going to be focused kind of more towards on keeping it not as good as an iPad in terms of keeping it not as good as a MacBook in terms of price tag in some other areas, because if it oversells in terms of the iPads, in terms of the MacBooks, I just feel like more people are going to sit for something like a MacBook, to be honest. So I hope Apple doesn't increase the prices. If they do, I think it's going to be cannibalizing a lot of MacBook sales for people going up to a MacBook versus an iPad. So keep that in mind. Now with the iPads, there could also be another Apple Pencil coming out as well. Now we've seen a ton of rumors and a ton of leaks of these next Apple Pencils coming out. And from what I've seen and from what I've heard, it is looking like these Apple Pencil 3s should be coming out sooner than later. Now first of all, there's been already a bunch of photos that leaked out about these Apple Pencils. They could be coming out in the March event as well. But the leaks that we've seen are showing them to be almost the same design as the original Apple Pencil 2. So it's not going to be like the Apple Pencil 1. The only similarity that the Apple Pencil 3 will have to the 1 is pretty much that, clear coding that we have on the Apple Pencil 1. So I think that's going to be cool. It's kind of like the AirPods case, kind of something like that on these Apple Pencils. I think it's cool. I mean, I really don't think it's that big of a deal, but we could be getting a new tip set on these specific Apple Pencils too. Now, I think it's cool and all, or maybe not, I'm not really too sure, but I think it is something to kind of keep in mind. I think when you have a set of Apple Pencils like this, it is a little bit of a problem when, you may not charge it in time or whatever, and then you essentially have a dead iPad or a dead Apple Pencil, and that's not cool. Hopefully with this next Apple Pencil, it does have better battery life. The Apple Pencils already have pretty good battery life, but hopefully they do take it up a notch a little bit. And I've said this, and I don't know, probably it's not going to happen, but it would be really cool if we could have a charging port on these Apple Pencils, just in case we don't have a case that supports the Apple Pencil and we still want to charge it somehow. It'd be really cool if we can go ahead and either have like some wireless charging capability on our Apple Pencils. It's probably not going to happen, but I think that would be really cool. Now, I do want to end off this video with a couple of iPhone 13 leaks that I've seen as well. We could really be getting some bigger batteries for these next iPhone 13s. It's been all over the place, but if we do not get bigger batteries on these devices, it's going to be really bad. It's not going to be a good look because we're getting some really cool features that may suck up some battery life, and if Apple doesn't increase the battery size on these devices, it's going to be a really bad look for sure. Now, we've been getting some iOS 15 leaks that kind of corroborate these things. Basically, iOS 15 could be a complete redesign in code, so we could be getting some improvements there. They're trying to make it as battery saving as possible, and I think that would be really, really awesome. Now, the 12 mini, this is something that I've seen a lot of, because the iPhone 12 mini was pretty much not necessarily a train wreck, but it just didn't sell too well as Apple was expecting, and that's the worst thing. It probably still sold millions of units, it's probably still a good selling phone, but Apple was expecting it to sell way more than than the original thought, and I think that's where the problem is. And because of that, Apple has so many units left over, they cut production, so now they have all these iPhone 12 minis laying around and nobody's buying them. So this makes me think that Apple is probably going to cut out an iPhone 13 mini. They're either going to cut it out or they're going to match their production on par to what the 12 mini was, so they're not going to have an influx of iPhones being made. So I think that's pretty smart. Either they make an iPhone 13 mini or probably nobody's going to use it. So I really don't know. I don't think they're going to make an iPhone 13 mini, but they might. But either or, they've already done what they had to do to increase the price tags of their iPhones. So again, there's nothing we can do about it. We just kind of have to live with it. Now, we're obviously going to be getting Touch ID, but I mentioned this before. I mean, if Apple's big feature of this year is Touch ID, that's so weird. That's not a good feature at all. That's like something that should have been on our phones the whole entire time. Why it got removed, I'll never understand. But you look at all these Samsungs, OnePluses, all these phones, they've been having fingerprint sensors in their displays for years now. And the fact that we're just now getting it is so strange to me, and I really hope that's not the case. And finally, 120 Hz refresh rate, man, hopefully we end up getting these things on these devices too. Now, it's probably going to be only for those Pro models, but I still think, hey, I'd rather take it on those Pro models than having it on no models at all. So that's really pretty much it. A kind of huge compilation of different leaks that could be coming out for these phones. If you guys like these types of videos, let me know in the comment section below. I'll probably do them more often if these ones do well. I really don't do these often. I usually keep them in separate videos, but let me know if you liked it. Hit the like button if you guys enjoy the video, but definitely hit that subscribe button. Every single subscriber that we get really does count. Send me so much if you guys can hit that. Also check out the other links down in the description as well. My Twitter, my Instagram, my other channels. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.